Have you ever used a pair of calipers to measure an inside bore? If you did, they lied to you. The good news is pretty much every other tool lies to you as well. The trick is to know what question you're asking and what tool is best suited to answer that question. Today, we're going to go over all the common tools available to measure bore diameters and talk about the pros and cons of each. Hi, I'm John, the owner of Leeman Geophysical. Here we make precision scientific equipment, and a while back I made a short video where I used pin gauges to measure the diameter of an internal bore. And you all had a lot to say about it. The most common question was, why aren't you using calipers? And bore measurement isn't really just a single problem. There's a suite of questions you can be asking and different tools that are available to address those at different price points. So today we're going to go over why calipers may not be the best choice depending on what your goal is and what other options are out there for most common shops. The key to choosing a tool for bore measurement is knowing what you're after. Are you looking for a rough estimate of the bore diameter? Are you looking for a simple pass-fail in inspection or QC? Are you trying to measure an absolute number to some precision? Do you need something to be measured to within, let's say, 0.005 of an inch? And do you care about things like how circular the bore is, or if there's a taper to the bore through its depth? All of these things mean different choices when you're doing your inspection or when you're in process machining. The first tool you might reach for is the simple pair of calipers. And this is what a lot of people asked me in the last video: why weren't you using calipers? So calipers have these jaws for measuring outside diameters, but they also have a set of inside diameter jaws. And to use them, it's quite simple. You put the inside diameter jaws in the bore you're trying to measure and extend the caliper and take your reading. Now, the catch is these don't make the best contact inside that bore. These have a finite width, otherwise they would be damaged as soon as you touch them or look at them. And that means that they're really making two-point contact on the bore, especially on smaller bores. On larger bores, it's less of an issue. These are also somewhat flexible. Everything is a little bit rubbery in the machining world when you get into fine enough inspection, and these don't have a lot of metal behind them. So though you probably already have these, and they're good enough for rough estimation, they're just not the best tool for measuring inside bores if you need anything more than a rough estimate. And by that, I mean several thousandths of an inch range is probably fine. So for example, this is a setting ring, and I've zeroed my calipers. This should be 1.20005 on this setting ring. And I'm reading, depending on how I read it, 1.199 to 1.20. So I don't have below 1,000th resolution on this particular set of calipers. And as you may see, there's a lot of operator dependence there. How hard am I pulling out on the caliper? Any tilt is going to show up as a very large error. So not only are they just not that accurate of an instrument, they also require some operator finesse. And that's why you should probably avoid calipers for internal diameters. The next step up is going to be to get yourself a set of telescoping gauges and measure them with an outside micrometer. So a telescoping gauge, as the name implies, telescopes. So these arms are spring-loaded and they're locked when this bottom knob is turned in. So we can unlock them. This is a really easy way to get relatively accurate measurements of a bore, and they come in sets like this. So to measure our ring gauge, I'm going to select the telescoping gauge that covers this size range, collapse it, and lock it down. I'm going to put the gauge in, put a little bit of tension on the lock screw, and then sweep through. And now I've stored this diameter in this gauge, but I still need to measure it. So for that, I'm going to use a pair of outside micrometers. I like to put my micrometers in a micrometer stand. This minimizes heat transfer from your hands to the micrometer. But more importantly, for me anyway, in general in the shop, is it just frees up a hand for me. So then I'm going to measure what diameter I've got here. And in this case, I'm gonna measure it at 1.200. And to me, it looks like about 8. So if this gauge is 1.20005, I'm about 3/10 off, or 3/10 of a thousandth for those of you that don't use the imperial system that often. Overall, pretty good, but I need to measure it multiple times. And that's the biggest drawback to these, is there's a lot of operator feel that goes on with them. You have to practice, you have to get a feel for using telescoping gauges, and generally take multiple measurements. Especially if you care about how round the hole is, you have to take measurements in several orientations. They're also not great for really shallow bores because you do have to rotate them to store that measurement in the tool. On the pro side though, they're relatively inexpensive. So this is a setup that you can get for not a lot of money that's a huge step up from calipers. One tool that I would say is probably not super common is a small hole gauge. The small hole gauge is a similar idea to the telescoping gauge, except it's got a sphere on the end that is expanded when you put tension on the knurled knob at the back of the tool. So you put this in the small hole, expand it until you feel some resistance, and then measure the diameter of the sphere. These are also a lot of operator feel, just like telescoping gauges. So I sort of put them in the same category of inexpensive, and once you get the hang of it, they're not too bad. Another tool you might consider is a dial bore gauge. This is similar to a telescoping gauge in that it's not an absolute measurement tool, even though it has a dial indicator on it. This is a reference tool that is set by some other standard, like a ring gauge, or you can even use your outside micrometers to set this, and then you measure deviation from that known value. This is a great tool for checking am I in tolerance or not when you set it to the known value, and then all you have to do is read off the deviation. So for example, I can set it using my outside micrometer, sweep it, and I'm going to note the largest value, okay? So that's my set point. Now I can put it in my bore I'm measuring, do the same process, and read the deviation from my set point. You can even zero the dial if you like. These are really great because they're relatively inexpensive, and they do a good job of showing taper or out of roundness as you go up and down a hole, or can spin them as long as you're doing the sweep. They are a little bit of operator finesse, and they take just a little bit of setup using some sort of standard. So they're not my favorite tool, but sometimes they're just what you need. The next tool we're going to talk about is called a pin gauge set. And this is actually mini tools, as you can see. These come in different grades and in different increments, so you can spend very little money or quite a bit of money depending on what you're looking for. This particular set goes from 0.251 inches, just a little over a quarter of an inch, all the way up to a half an inch in 1/1000th of an inch increments in diameter. So if I know what diameter my hole is supposed to be, I can use a pin of that diameter and check it. Now these are called a minus set, which means they're actually a little bit undersized, about 0.2 of a thousandth. So the pin, for example, a 0.364 here, should just fit in a 0.364 hole. The 365 pin should not. The 363 pin should and will be a little bit loose. These are very intuitive to use, so that's their biggest draw. They don't take a lot of training, there's not a lot of operator finesse, and these sets can be relatively inexpensive depending on, again, the grade and the increment that you're looking for. The downsides are, they are just in increments, so I can tell you to the nearest thousandth what that hole is, but I can't tell you much more than that. Also, you do have to shell out the money and get whatever grade you require. I know a lot of you are going to say you shouldn't be touching these with your hands. This is a shop set. It's something we use for rough QC, rough being a thousandth or so, out on the shop floor, and we don't consider them too sacred. If you're in a QC lab with a very nice lab or inspection grade set, you should be using gloves when you're handling these. So gauge pins are another way to go. They go from very, very small, we've got some that are pencil lead width, up to about half an inch before they start getting really expensive. So we're not going to be using a 1.2 inch gauge pin on this because we don't have one. You'd use other methods for measuring a diameter that large. Probably the nicest tool that you're going to see in most shops is a bore micrometer. These come in analog and digital varieties. This happens to be a digital one that we borrowed from our friends down at Nance Machine. We actually don't have any of these in the shop. We use all the other methods that I've shown you to measure bore diameters, and that's largely because these can get incredibly expensive very quick, but they're very easy to use. So in this case, all I'm going to do is squeeze the handle, put it in the bore, let go, and read right off the indicator what the value is. So these are probably one of the more accurate ways that you can measure a bore. You do get a little bit of taper information if you move up and down, and they work in shallow holes. You don't really get any circularity information, and they can be a little bit slower or require some more training than something like a pin gauge. Also, as I mentioned, they're incredibly expensive. Most of the other metrology that I've shown you could all be bought for your shop for the price of one of these. That's why we don't have these, but if you have access to them or a means to get them, they're a really nice tool to have. So that covers the most common internal diameter measurement tools that you're going to find in shops. Now, of course, there are other tools out there. There's some telescoping micrometers that are a combination between a telescoping gauge and a micrometer. Though those are mostly in older shops, I haven't seen one in years. There are some shops that will use optical comparators as long as light can shine all the way through the part, as it could on this one. And you can get reasonably accurate measurements with a fair amount of work. The gold standard, of course, would be a coordinate measuring machine, where you can get reports on the taper and the circularity of the hole and all kinds of information. But for most shops, it's just more information than we need. And they're incredibly expensive to operate, and they require a lot of training. So I hope this video has given you a good feel for different ways to measure interior diameters and answered some questions that we were getting on other videos. Remember, calipers are okay if you're just interested in an approximate measurement, and that smaller bores are going to be affected more by those errors. Next, you can go up to telescoping gauges, an inexpensive way to get a pretty good result as long as you practice some. Then you've got bore gauges, bore dial gauges. These are good for relative measurements and make quick work of QC. We've got pin gauges for a relatively inexpensive and low experience way to measure if you're in spec or not. And then finally, the gold standard of a bore micrometer. If you found this video useful, be sure to like and subscribe and check out all of our other tutorials. And if you need custom scientific instrumentation for your lab, be sure to contact us through LeemanGeophysical.com.